Like sometimes you just need the angst and tension that is romantasy. I feel like that one made sense. I feel like I ate with that one, okay? This whole video is just me trying to communicate the inner workings of my brain and failing to do so tremendously. Welcome back to my channel. So today's video is super duper fun and it is my February TBR. I asked you guys on my Instagram, currently.overbooked, to help me pick out my February TBR. However, there was a bit of a catch. You guys did so blindly. Now, I did throw you guys a bone, okay? I will say that because I included some emojis that kind of gave you a hint on what the book was about, what the title might have been. So let's get into it. So for the first round, I feel like it was fairly easy to guess these two, mainly because there were numbers in the titles for these books, and I didn't really know how else to describe the books without using the title. So that's on me, that's okay. I'll throw you guys one. But for book A, I used a 1 and a 3, and then I had like a little rugby ball emoji. I know sports. Yeah, definitely know what a rugby ball looks like. I don't even know if they call it a rugby ball. And then moving on to the second book, we had a 7, a calendar, and like a little sparkle emoji. So if you weren't able to guess the books by those emojis, it was Binding 13 and the 7-Year Slip. 13, 7, the 7-Year Slip, year, calendar. It has aspects of magical realism, hence the like little sparkle because of magic, I guess. That was kind of my line of reasoning. And then 13, obviously, for those emojis. And then this book is actually a rugby sports romance. So I looked up rugby and that ball is what came up. So let's hope that's what they use in rugby, or else I just look dumb. So Binding 13 ended up winning by 56%. The 7-Year Slip had 44%, so it was fairly close, but Binding 13 was the clear winner, so I will be reading this in February. So moving on to round 2, these two books were neck and neck the entire time. At one point, it was tied completely, like down the middle, 50-50. And not gonna lie, I was a little worried that I was gonna have to add both of these to my TBR. Like, I would have loved it, but I don't know how I would have done that, okay? That is just being overly ambitious. So for book 1, I had a cowboy, a man, and like a child, and then a horse. And then for book 2, I had a world, a heart, and a lab coat. Again, I feel like if you knew these books already, if you're like a big reader or you just like know what's popular, you would be able to guess what these books were. So the two books were Heartless by Elsie Silver and Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. So Part of Your World literally has world in the title. It's a romance, and then it's also about a doctor. The main girl is a doctor, so that's why there was a lab coat. And then Heartless is a single dad. It's a cowboy romance, like he literally owns a ranch. I feel like it was very easy, but who knows, maybe I'm just like gaslighting myself and it was actually really, really hard. So the winner ended up being Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. It won by 51%, and then Heartless got 49%, so really, really close. Honestly, the whole time, Heartless was in the lead, and then all of a sudden Part of Your World just like had a major comeback, which honestly surprised me because Heartless is like a fan favorite for the Chestnut Spring girlies, but I'm really excited. This will be my first ever Abby Jimenez books. I've heard such great things about her, so I'm really excited that this is on my February TBR. So moving on to round 3, I decided to change it up a little bit, be a little bit different, if you will. And I decided to throw in a little bit of like a fantasy round. Obviously, February is going to be a romance-heavy month, but sometimes you just want to put down those rom-coms and have a little break and read about two main characters wanting to unalive one another. Like sometimes you just need the angst and tension that is romantasy, okay? So for the emojis that I chose, for book 1, I had a ninja, a sword, and then a castle. And then for book B, I had a crown, a fairy, and then 2 swords. Looking back, I feel like one book was very, very obvious, and then the other book wasn't. So I feel like it wasn't a fair fight for the other book, so it might make another appearance in a different TBR video. We'll see. But the 2 books in this round were The Assassin's Blade and The Cruel Prince. I just want to explain my line of reasoning for the emojis I picked because you guys might be watching at home and be like, oh my gosh, is she dumb? Like, how does she not know, like, the assassin's blade is this emoji and this emoji? Like, I don't know. Sorry, it does not compute up here. I barely use emojis. For the assassin's blade, I chose the ninja because to be an assassin, you have to be like stealthy, like a ninja. I don't know. Maybe an assassin wears all black. Who knows, okay? I also had the one sword because blade, that's a singular sword. And then I had the castle because I'm pretty sure the Throne of Glass series takes place like in like a medieval kingdom kind of vibe. So that's where I was going with this book, okay? So for the Cruel Prince, obviously I had a crown because of Prince. I had the fairy emoji because I'm pretty sure they're fae. And then I had the two different blades like crossing each other because I think the two main characters are supposed to kill each other. That I feel like the crown definitely gave it away. And maybe like the ferryman. So out of these two books, The Cruel Prince ended up winning by 62%. The Assassin's Blade did not have a fighting chance. It only had 38% of the votes. So The Cruel Prince was our clear and distinct winner. I'm sorry to my Throne of Glass girlies. Sorry if you didn't know what I was trying to do with my emojis. I'm so sorry, but I will read it someday. I will, I promise. So for the next round, we are back to our regular scheduled programming and we have two romance books for our options. For book A, I have a heart emoji, a clock, and like a little reverse sign thing. And then for book B, I have a black heart, I have two people holding hands, and then a piece of paper that kind of looks like a contract almost. So the two books ended up being The Do-Over by Lynn Painter and My Dark Romeo by Parker S. Huntington and L.J. Shen. So I chose the emojis that I did for The Do-Over because the main trope in this book is like a Groundhog Day trope. She is reliving the same day over and over. This book also takes place on Valentine's Day, which is why I included the heart emoji. So I feel like that one made sense. I feel like I ate with that one, okay? And then for My Dark Romeo, this was definitely a lot more difficult than The Do-Over. I had a black heart because it's like a dark romance. I had two people holding hands and like a contract because this does have an arranged marriage trope. So I don't know. That was my line of reasoning there. I guess I could have done like a contract and then like the ring. That would have made way more sense. Not too bright that day, was I? So out of these two books, The Do-Over ended up winning by a landslide. It ended up having 66% of the votes, and My Dark Romeo only had 34%. So now we're on our last and final round. So for book A, I had a baby bottle, a man, and a child, and then like a film camera. And then for book B, I had like a, I don't even know what you would call that, like an X out emoji, two people kissing, and then a heart with an arrow across. So the two books in this round were The Nanny and A Not So Meet Cute. So for The Nanny, I chose a bottle because she's a nanny, she's working with kids. And then I chose the dad and the little girl emoji because he's a single father. And then the film camera because she does have an OnlyFans. I felt like that kind of maybe gave the message. I don't know. This whole video is just me trying to communicate the inner workings of my brain and failing to do so tremendously. And then for A Not So Meet Cute, I had the like X out and the people kissing because I'm pretty sure this is a fake dating trope. And then I had a heart because they fall in love. Yeah. They fall in love. So the winner of this round ended up being A Not So Meet Cute. It won by 67%. The Nanny ended up only getting 33%. So yeah. So just to do a quick little recap of all the books on my February TBR. First we have Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh. This is a college romance. It's a sports romance. It's about Johnny and Shannon. Johnny is quite popular, whereas Shannon is not so popular. So it's popular guy, not so popular girl. This is the first book of the Boys of Tommen series, and I am so excited to read it in February. I feel like this series is so hyped up. It is Destiny Sidwell's like one of her favorite romance series ever. She talks about it a lot on her channel, so I'm really excited to read it in February. So next we have Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. This is a reverse age gap, one night stand kind of trope. It also has like small town but big city vibes because she's from the city, he's from a small town, so they kind of live different lives. She's 10 years older than him, which kind of sparks some controversy. It adds a little bit of tension and angst to their story. It's one of the reasons why they can't date. She's also from a pretty affluent, wealthy family. She comes from a line of doctors. She herself is supposed to become a doctor. However, she doesn't know if that's kind of the line of work that she wants to go into. There's a lot of pressure from her family to become that. This will be my first ever Abby Jimenez book. I haven't read a single book by her, which is odd because I feel like she's so popular. I feel like 2023 was really her year. All the book girlies could not stop raving about her, so I'm really excited. I know Haley Pham, Sarah Caroli, Destiny Sidwell, they're all really big fans of hers. So the third book on my TBR is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I honestly don't know much about this book despite how popular it is. I feel like it is one of the OG book talk books. The main things that I know about this book is that it's enemies to lovers and he has a tail. So I am a little bit wary. However, the fan art for this series goes so hard. Every time I see it, I'm like, that is something I need to read. Like, I need to read that series. So despite the tail aspect, this is definitely up my alley. I love the enemies to lovers trope. That is my favorite trope of all time. And I can't wait to jump into this series. Next, we have The Do-Over by Lynn Painter. This is a YA romance. It's about Emily and she is reliving the same day over and over again, and that day so happens to be Valentine's Day. So it's kind of a Groundhog's Day trope. She's reliving the same day over and over again. I've heard such cute things about this book. The cover is adorable. I also love the sprayed edges. That was honestly one of the reasons why I bought this book in the first place. Lynn Painter is also notorious for her YA romances, so I'm super excited to read this. I honestly haven't ever read a YA romance by Lynn Painter. Everything I've read by her was her adult romances. I wasn't really the biggest fan of her adult romances, but I'm willing to give her YA books a try. The next book we have is A Not So Meet Cute by Megan Quinn. Megan Quinn is an author that I've been wanting to read for quite some time. I just haven't ever picked up a book by her. This is the first book of the Kane Brothers series, which is an interconnected standalone series by her. It's about these three brothers, so each brother gets their own book. The main trope in this is fake dating, so I'm really excited about this as well. Fake dating is one of my other favorite tropes. I just love it. I don't know what it is about fake dating, but it's just so fun. And yeah, so I actually have one more book on my February TBR that wasn't a part of the Instagram polls, and that is The Graham Effect by Elle Kennedy. This is actually my book club's pick for February. I host a book club on my Instagram, currently .overbooked. The link to my Instagram is always in the description. In order to join my book club, all you have to do is subscribe to my Instagram page. You'll be added to a designated group chat, you'll get exclusive posts and content from me, and you'll also be able to vote on what book we read each month. So it's a lot of fun. It's a great way to meet people in the book community and make bookish friends. The Graham Effect is a college hockey romance. It has witty banter, it's dual POV, and it takes place in the same universe as the Off-Campus series. It's actually about the second gen. So The Graham Effect, this is about Gigi Graham, Garrett Graham's daughter. She goes to Briar U. She's a women's hockey player. She ends up striking a deal with one of the new hockey transfer students, Luke Ryder. Basically, the deal is that she has to talk up Ryder to her dad because he wants to be the assistant coach for her dad's summer camp, and in return, Ryder is going to give her one-on-one hockey lessons so she can improve her game and possibly make the Olympic team. I am so excited to read this book in February because the Off-Campus series is my comfort series, it has gotten to the point where I honestly think those characters are real people. I do not care how delusional that may seem, but those characters are real to me, okay? And no one can tell me different. No one can tell me otherwise. So that is it for my video. Those are all 6 of the books that I plan to read in February. Hopefully, I actually stay true to that promise because I am a notorious mood reader. Who knows if I'll actually stick to my TBR, but let's hope and pray. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below what you plan to read in February. If we have anything in common on our TBR, I would love to know. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my videos. I have a lot of fun things planned in February, so subscribe. And that is it. I will see you next time. Goodbye.